Oh.
Thank you all for your love and concern and prayers and everything. Oh. Hi. Oh, dear.
No hugs,
No hugs.
Sandy, yeah.
That was a hug.
I have to hug Sandy. I have to hug Sandy.
That's right.
I'll move around.
Hey,
How you doing?
where's my man? How are you? How are you? Great to see you.
How are you, dear? It's so good to see you. I
A surprise.
It was so funny last night. And she goes, don't come, Margaret. So pretty.
Are you good as yellow? I'm so happy. You're not getting the spirit.
You've never had the pretty.
It's good, it's very attractive.
God is right, when you get this over.
How you doing? Good to see you. Who's this guy? What's that?
I mean, I've heard about him, I feel like I should know. I know after all these years, I said I felt like I knew him.
You know, what do you, you're empty, what do you?
Well,
Malbec.
no, they've been great.
I can't help you with that.
Here you are.
I didn't realize it.
You and your brother don't be mad.
I know we're not flights, cancellation, lost baggage.
Yeah.
9 hours.
Karen didn't spill the beans last night. Why are you bringing this? You're in deep.
She wasn't here.
Why not?
Oh, you wouldn't want to do
Some people you just can't keep on. You just can't trust them.
It was okay, but I knew like, you had talked to him today.
No, I talked to you about a week before we, yeah.
You talked about Portland.
Very good.
Vince.
On A1A. Yeah.
I mean, there were no other cars now,
You know what?
But we just brought old pictures and they, I think they've done this for us, so they have like turkey, they're like, look at it, together, and this is what we're
I think you're right over there. You're over there.
We're supposed to go to
Most of the time, I'd rather be in that corner over there.
After 4 months of your rate.
Garrett, whatever we do to dinner. Oh! Yeah, can't see. What do you mean you can't see? We're good. I got the rate. That'd be out. But I just retired for a long time.
That was the one that I showed.
both have names.
You
Say that way, I can't screw up.
First of all, I'd like to thank each of you for coming. This is a special event for Barbara, but it's a special event for both of us. And each of you have been involved in helping us get to this point. And she has been one of my advisors throughout my career, and she always says, keep it short. And I told her I was going to sing to her tonight if there weren't too many people in the
And I
dining
told him I'd leave the room.
But I just wanted to say a couple brief words. One, to thank each of you because your cards, your emails, your letters, everything have been so important in her recovery. And there are so many other folks on this island that we couldn't put them, literally could not put them in this room. And she's been so indebted to them. So we thank each of you, and we'll hopefully get a moment to thank the other people as we see them. But I met this young lady about 60 years ago. And I met her in a paddock. Now, that's a true story. On a blind date. A paddock at that time was a cheap bar.
Where?
Huh?
Where?
In Philadelphia. In one of the Philadelphia suburbs. I don't even remember where. Somebody took me, you know. And she was a nurse then, and she's a nurse now. She's never ended up being a nurse. She's provided nursing services to every member of our extended family and neighborhoods we lived in, and to all of our children. Barbara has had so many roles in all of my life and in our children's life, and being mother and caregiver have been at the top of the list. She's done so many other things. She's loved the garden. I think of Barbara as a flower and a daffodil. It springs in the spring, and she keeps springing back, you know? And we're grateful for that. And she loves her roses, at least in Ohio, not necessarily down here. But she's done so many things. I could tell you stories about what she's done. She's been a partner for me for 58 years as of last Monday. Wow. And so I'll cut it short saying she's been a great partner all those years for me and for our children and for all of our friends, and she's been a great friend to many people. And I want to take this opportunity to wish her a very happy 80th.
To Barbara. Thank you all for being here, and blessings to all of you.
Barbara is not a public speaker, I'll
No.
tell you that. She hates to stand and talk to anybody. But she does a great job, and she has a great story, by the way, when she went to the hospital. She won't tell it, but I'll say just briefly.
Oh, I can tell that story.
Okay.
Yeah, I should tell that story.
Okay.
I think, oh God, if I can stand up.
Yeah.
When the night that I hadn't been feeling well, to say the least. Over Christmas, I mean, the kids did everything. I told the kids, I want you all to come for Christmas, but you're gonna have to do everything. I can't walk from here to that door without sitting down and catching my breath and getting my heart rate normal. And I said, you're just gonna have to do everything, and they did. They decorated, they put up a couple of trees, they did everything. And we had a wonderful Christmas. They took everything down before they left. Perfect. Which is important too. And so the 10th of January, we were going to have friends from Keith's former company, several of them, I don't know. There were about 8 coming for dinner. They were picking up food at a Lebanese restaurant in Toledo. There's a lot of Middle Eastern people in Toledo. And 2 or 3 wonderful Lebanese restaurants. They were going to pick up the food and bring. We were just all going to sit around the table and visit. And the phone rings, and I had been to the doctor's office in the morning and said, you know, I'm not a little old lady who's tired of being tired. There is something pathologically wrong with me. I've been complaining for weeks that I'm tired. Do something. And so this nurse practitioner said, well, let's see what your blood count is. It was, your hemoglobin was 10 4 weeks ago. Let's see what it is today. So she ordered a count. I went down to the lab. So we're preparing for everybody to come with all this wonderful Lebanese food, and the phone rings. And this little nurse practitioner, she said, I saw where you live. I've called Flower Hospital. They're expecting you at the ER because your hemoglobin is 5. And they're very busy because the flu was full bloom January 10th last year. A very bad year for it in Toledo, the whole country. And she said that because it was icy this morning, they've got all kinds of broken bones, but she said they'll triage you when you get there. And they may triage you. So we get there, and Keith, we're backing out of the garage, and everybody's coming up the driveway, and we said, enjoy the food, take it home, do whatever, we're going to the ER. So Keith was kind of shaky, and we were both sort of wondering what in the world's going on, so a couple of the gals drove us over there. And we roll in and go to the desk, and they took me right in, and the place was full of people, all wearing masks. They were huddled in little groups, trying to stay away from one another because of the flu. And went back to, I said, Keith, these people are going to be furious with me. They've been waiting, and they're just taking me, you know. And Keith said, Barbara, don't worry about that. So we get back there, and the doctor comes in, and I said, what would make my hemoglobin go from 10 to 5 in 4 weeks? And he said, that's not the worst of the problem. All of your levels are rock bottom. We've got to get you up in isolation right away. And normally I would be really upset, you know, and excited and anxious. And I wasn't. I just felt this calm come over me. And I really feel God took my hand at that point. And I was just enveloped in this warmth and calm. And I was that way the entire time I was in the hospital. I just thought, I'm in God's hands. I was worried about Keith because I knew Keith needed me. And I said to the doctor, I knew I had the end stage of Keith's disease. I knew what I had. And I said, I'm my husband's caregiver. I said, he said, well, what does your husband have? I said, he has MDS. He said, my God, where have you lived? And I said, we've lived in Toledo, Ohio, and basically America, you know. So we lived in Washington for 20 years, but that's just full of hot air.
That'll do it.
River Street.
But anyway, so I just felt totally calm the whole time. I am so grateful for that. And I have a little book that I keep with me, and I read from it each morning, and each night I took it with me to X-ray to everywhere. And I wish I had it with me so I could read what it said for January 10th, but it was perfect. You know, it's a daily devotion kind of thing. it was unbelievable what it said, January 10th last year. And it's Jesus Calling, it's the little book, some of you may have it. And, but it really was, it was an amazing experience, and it's a journey that Keith and I have taken, that we have met so many wonderful, caring people. The gals on the 7th floor, the oncology floor, I call them my girls. I go up and visit them when I'm at the Hickman Cancer Center for infusions and stuff. And they're just wonderful. Just, and all the cards and letters. I mean, I went home with 3 grocery bags full of cards and notes, and a lot of notes from Kristen's friends from high school who had spent, you know, time at our house and found out that I was sick. There's something about being told you have 4 weeks to live that it's like being at your own wake. People send you messages that if they think you're going to die, they really tell you how they feel about you. It was a gift, really. When Dr. Shia came up, she was Keith's doctor, so right away I knew what doctor I wanted. And when she came up to the room to see me for the first time, I said, Dr. Shia, you have to tell me. You know I'm Keith's caregiver. We're supposed to leave for Georgia in 4 days. We need to make plans. How much time do you think I have? And she said, I think you have about 4 weeks. And but we should know, the only thing that bothered me was Kristen was sitting right there next to me, and I didn't expect her to say 4 weeks, but I needed to know. And she's been very candid with me about everything, because I told her I need to know. And but she said we should know on the 4th or 5th chemo treatment whether the chemo is going to work. And 2.5 weeks later, we hadn't started the chemo yet. And I said, you know, I'm halfway through my lifespan. If you're going to do that, going. And the problem was my levels were so low that they couldn't give me chemo because it kills good and bad. And I had so little good, they couldn't do it. But about the 3rd week they gave me, they had been dumping stuff in me like crazy from the very first minute. And my platelets were 2 in 2,000. Normally would be 36,000. And it's your clotting. And the little nurse came in to the alcove in the ER, and they were so rushed, and she just went right through my vein. And my arm just, I had a softball under there because there was no clotting. And this is what the doctor said, you know, we've got to get you upstairs and don't fall, don't bump, don't do anything. And I said, well, we've already done that, you know. But it all worked out. And on the 2nd treatment of the chemo, the numbers held a little bit, because previously they would dump all these red packed cells in me, and the next morning there'd be nothing there. And meanwhile, you know, when they do that, then you just build more antibodies, and the next thing we know, we're waiting for units to come from Colorado, and you know, they're trying to find them further and further away because there are so many antibodies every time you do this. But anyway, it's all worked out well, and praise the Lord. I just am very grateful for each and every one of you and all the love and messages that you have sent, and thank you for coming tonight. You're all a blessing to me.
Happy 80.
Happy. So the thing you don't want to find out when you've written a poem for your friend's 80th is that the poet laureate from Delaware is in the audience. But with apologies to Tony and probably to Barbara, Barbara is 80. I just can't believe it. If you've lost your sense of fun, Barbara can retrieve it. She's saucy and sassy. Her humor is killing. She's open to new ideas. She's engaged. And she's willing. When I think of what you, Barbara, in your long life have seen, it's like a big feature film up there on the screen. The world has sure changed, and you've been there for the ride. If the going got bumpy, you took it in stride. Her career in nursing, a real tour de force. She told everyone probably what to do, and they did it, of course. Later, her philanthropy at Madison School of Nursing created the Clinical Practice Lab for knowledge dispersing. A lady always involved and truly philanthropic, a champion of our new museum, while we're on the topic. Barbara leaves clear tracks. She's a modern thought leader. Her contributions are outstanding. No one can beat her. So when Kristen and Keith called to implore us to gather tonight for the Happy Birthday Hallelujah chorus, I thought we should do it, but also we want to say, please stay, Barbara. We miss you a lot, every day. So congratulations, Barbara. You're smart and kind-hearted. And as for accomplishments, you've just gotten started. Here's to 80 and all you've done so far. To Barbara Weichel, quite a lady who raises the bar.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Barbara. Happy birthday to you. Okay.
But I want to tell you a story that I think you'll enjoy. All this happened back in December, and I was talking to Keith almost every day, and I was getting all these stories about Barb. Tears. So I said, damn it, I gotta come out there. So if you think it's easy to fly from here to Toledo, try it. I mean, it was, and I couldn't even get first class all the way. It was just outrageous, you know. But I got out there, it was snowing, it was a beautiful night. I'm from the north, so I missed the snow and everything. And I go in, and Rick is there, and he says, Mr. Lyman, I have your favorite red wine here, Palermo. And Keith and I sat down, I had a little dinner and all that. So he said, Keith said, now we're gonna go over there tomorrow. Here's what's going on, here's where she is, and everything. I said, okay, I'm ready. So we go over there and we get up into her room, and I walk in, and oh my gosh, that's the Barb I know. I mean, what's the problem here? I mean, she looked fantastic. She says, hi Jerry, thank you for coming. I said, no problem, Barb. So I'm sitting there, and we start, she's telling me things, and all of a sudden the nurse comes in, and the nurse says, now Mrs. Weichel, who would you like on duty tonight? So Barb starts saying, well, now, you know, so-and-so, she's okay, but, you know, she doesn't know all the ins and outs of being really a good nurse. And I think maybe, and I don't know all these names, but I'm sitting there, and she is talking, and later on I heard somebody say that they considered her the mayor of that floor. And then the subject of a young man who came in to take her blood, and he was brand new, came up. And she said, well, I mean, you know, he did this, and I finally said to him, look, you're not doing this properly. You need to do this, that, or the other thing. And she was trying to help this young man, and he was resentful and everything else, and he went storming out. And so she's telling this story, and then I heard later that the young man's no longer on the 7th floor. And then her minister came in, who was a wonderful man, really. I really liked him. I'm not the most religious person in the world, but he was fantastic. And he says to Barb, what are we doing today? Barb says, well, we're forgiving. She said, you know, I've been kind of harsh on a few people, and I've been thinking about it, and I think I've got to sort of calm down, and I've got to forgive those people. And maybe I was too harsh. So let's do a forgiving thing today. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And then Keith and I left, and I walked out. I said, Keith, she looks fantastic. She looks like Barb. She's the woman that I've known all these years. But I thought you might like to hear that, because I was there thinking the worst. And there she was. The woman I know who's always been tough on me, and you know, I've loved dearly. So that's
Anyway.
You're right, I didn't know that. Look at And Barbara came back once.
I got that. But Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, that's the house. Yeah, see? It's all like
Dick Todd, Sammy Ball.
I think they're gonna give them,
When you were a Sammy Ball fan, was there a bear beat
That's all.
buy. Buy more, buy more.
It's always good to see you. I love shopping. And I'm riding on.
Well done. I'll see y'all.
Amazing
When you come in, I'll walk you out. We're gonna get some of those little police officers to stop you. There's Tony and Larry. See you later. Good night.
Hey, thanks for coming.